Hello and welcome to a very special Elimination Chamber review and recap from Recharge Wrestling. We're here to plug you in, and we've eliminated Fisher today. So it's only myself, Krusty, and Keaney.
Yeah, I've arrived late and I've eliminated Fisher. An F5 to Fisher and he's out.
I think you're the unexpected sixth opponent we expected to join.
Yeah, exactly.
Which never actually came.
I'm like Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
this one.
Exactly that. So how we tend to do this is we're going to go down the card, sort of go over the matches a little bit more in depth than we did on our other video a couple of days ago, and just get our overall thoughts. Also, now we've managed to sort of have a look and see if there's any insider news, which we do have from the Men's Elimination Chamber. So keep listening out for that. So we started the night with a good pre-show match of Rey Mysterio versus The Miz. What did you think of that, Keaney?
Yeah, this actually was a good match, I thought. I quite enjoyed the back and forth in this one. And I mean, we'll get to it later in the night, but obviously there's more to come from this match going forward. I think that was one of the questions I had is why is this match on this card? I mean, we assumed Mania we were going to get Mysterio and Miz, but it happened here. And that's obviously they're planning for something bigger at Mania, tag team wise. But for this one, I mean, two, really good match. We've seen Miz and Dominic on Raw a few times. And it kind of just played into Mysterio's, 2-on-1 against the Miz, and
which is quite rare, to be honest. It's normally the other way around. You've normally got Miz with the sort of handicap upper hand.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I thought was interesting. But yeah, I completely agree with you saying that we look like we're going to get this for Mania, and it seemed like this feud was pushed quite quickly to get to this point. But actually, I don't think they're disappointed at all.
No, they didn't. I mean, the only thing which you can question is the finish of it. Skull crushing finale counted into a roll up for the 1-2-3 for Rey. I mean, one thing I did like in this match was Miz feigning the chair shot where he kicked the steps and got Dominic evacuated from ringside, but then seconds later Rey rolled up Miz anyway. So yeah,
in this instance I didn't mind it too much. I mean, normally that's not my cup of tea, but I think this playful match where you've got sort of pretend chair shots and things like that, it doesn't matter too much. It also keeps they love to do it, don't they, when they want to protect somebody, and they haven't Miz hasn't really lost, has he? I mean, he's been rolled up, so that leaves that match open. If he got destroyed by Rey, there'd be no point in going ahead.
This is how they advance storylines, isn't it? When they want one match to lead to another match, they do a funny finish because you can't do a clean finish and move on, really. So I guess that's why they've done it. And it was a pre-show match, so you don't expect anything spectacular. They've actually been quite bad recently on pre-show matches for kind of either non-finishes or kind of roll-up finishes. I think back to Priest and Nakamura at Survivor Series, which was a DQ finish, and that was on the pre-show. Whereas the pre-show match before was just, a 10-minute match, nothing spectacular, and just, it could be on a Raw, but they've started to use it more storyline based, which is interesting.
Yeah, I always think it should be a proper match. Just maybe use.
And this was really this was a proper match, wasn't it? It was a really good wrestling match between the two. I thought Rey looked really cool as well in his green outfit.
He did, yeah.
Cool
I think it's so popular as well. I was thinking while this was on, I think this is the loudest pre-show crowd I have heard. I don't recall, and at the time, the commentators had even said they made a comment about the stadium being sold out, but everybody's arriving late because it was quite empty, but they were so loud, which I thought was just amazing. The crowd was just so good here, which really did boost these matches.
Yeah, definitely. I think the crowd in Saudi Arabia that we've seen over the past couple of years tend to be really loud. I think that happens a lot when they travel abroad from the States. Is these crowds that don't get to see them all the time, they really are into it. Whereas I think some of the American crowds can be a bit jaded, maybe, with seeing
They've been spoiled, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. That's why they need to come to the UK for a pay-per-view, because we would go mental.
If anyone's watching,
yeah,
please do that.
I mean,
and actually on our YouTube, we actually have a video recorded by our very own Keaney of Drew McIntyre hinting at UK pay-per-view. So we're keeping everything crossed that that's going to happen in the near future.
Oh, it would be amazing, wouldn't it? Absolutely amazing. Right, let's move on to the main show. And we kicked off the main show, maybe not surprisingly, with Reigns and Goldberg. I mean, were you surprised this was first?
I was surprised, actually. Okay. Yeah, I thought, wow, they could, to the moment this was announced, and then the fact that Roman came out first, my head started buzzing. I was like, hang on a minute, this doesn't make sense. I think Goldberg's going to win. Roman's going to go in the chamber, or he's going to cost Brock in the chamber. I can't help it. But I was actually really surprised. But I guess now, looking back, it was such a great move. Let's start the show off with an absolute bang. So you wasn't surprised?
No, I think that there's been a few instances where they've started shows with, especially when you've got so many big matches. You've got the men's chamber. You've got Lita and Becky, you've got Ronda Rousey appearing a bit later on. You've got the women's chamber. There's a lot of big matches on the card where I think you could afford to split the matches up. I think, was it Roman and Seth was quite early on in Rumble, wasn't it? It was one of the first couple of matches at the Rumble.
Yeah, I think it might have been number 1 actually.
From memory, yeah. And I think we had Brock and Seth at Mania. That was on first one, yeah. When Seth beat Brock.
Thinking, yeah, now you're talking about it, it really does make sense to start really strong, end really strong. And
you want to get the crowd into it. I mean, you can't start the show with Madcap Moss and Drew, maybe, because it's just. Yeah. I mean, they'll be up for it, I'm sure, but you want to start big, give them a little lull in the middle, and then end big. I think that's how they tend to run these things. But what do you think of the match itself?
Yeah, I did. I suppose I enjoyed it. I've had mixed reviews in my own head of whether I liked the finish or not. At the time, I wasn't too keen, but then looking back, if they just had spears and Superman punches everywhere, which we had plenty of them, but if it ended like that, every single one of Goldberg's matches has ended like that. And I think Fisher mentioned on another video that this may be Goldberg's last match. So I guess in a way, it's quite good to have Goldberg sort of be like submissioned out. So like he can't fight anymore. So he's fought to the last breath. And it actually looked like he was choking out. He was going purple. I was like, you need to let him go here.
And he had like a cut on his head, which was like, it's like Reigns was squeezing the blood out of his head at one point. He had like a little cut, then like as it was going on, it was like bleeding more.
He's probably thinking, you better not come back anymore, Goldberg. It's like, don't you dare come back again.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if this is Goldberg's last match, it's just a bit of a whimper for him to go out on. I don't think I've seen better Goldberg matches than this, definitely.
The Lashley one last time.
Yeah, and a lot of the Goldberg Brock matches were really, like, I think I mentioned it before on this pod, but there was one at Mania a couple of years back, which I loved, a Goldberg Brock match, which was just finishes everywhere. And here, I know we had a few teases of a jackhammer, a couple of spears. I don't think looked particularly. Again, it's not, Goldberg's not what he used to be. He looks great, but he used to be able to hit a spear a lot better than he can now. I'm glad he didn't hit him with a jackhammer, because I don't know how he would have. He's struggled with jackhammers a bit in the past couple of years.
Did he not jackhammer Lashley though?
Yeah, he did. He did.
But Lashley's so strong.
Yeah, and maybe Reigns could have held himself up as well. Yeah. Maybe it would have been fine.
I think in a way, listening to you now, you're on the same wavelength I was. I've come around, but I think Fisher may have taught me round somewhat. But I was expecting bang, 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 but it was quite so like, yeah, as you say, finisher after finisher, real quick, sparky match. And no one went through a barricade, which was disappointing.
That was disappointing. One thing we haven't mentioned, which I quite liked, was just, and again, it's just standard, but Reigns telling the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to acknowledge him at the start. I love it. Yeah. He's just the man. He's just
I like the way that there was like cheers, and then when he said it, he like turned to boos.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
He can play the crowd, can't he? Really can play the crowd.
Definitely, but for me, it's just one of the worst Reigns title defenses. I think it is long run as Universal Champ.
I can't say I deny it.
Yeah, this was nothing special for me. There was no real storytelling here. Again, maybe the finish, you say, maybe Goldberg fought to his last breath and you could play that angle. Maybe I didn't think of that before you said. Maybe that's something. But yeah, like previous Goldberg matches, he's hit his finishers, and here a lot of them were reversed, and Reigns didn't have too much jeopardy in this win. I don't think it was not like he was never close to losing. I don't think in this match.
No,
but it's fine. And if they have to have Goldberg on Saudi, then I don't mind him being in a 5-minute match where he loses. If they have to have him on the show, then this is where I want him.
I suppose they haven't quite played into the Goldberg as well. It wasn't like he came out and beat him in 2 minutes. It went a little while. I'm interested to see what Roman has to say on SmackDown.
I'll be surprised if he mentions it. I'll be surprised if
he smashed him.
Yeah, I reckon he'll move on very quickly.
Goldberg smashed him.
Well, he did well.
By Goldie Boldy.
Yeah, and if that's Goldberg's last match, then
Goldberg's going to come out to Lashley and Reigns, not Lashley, Lesnar and Reigns, and say, "You're next," and that's it.
Obviously we're not really mentioning SmackDown this week because it was just before the show, but Goldberg's promo on SmackDown I wasn't a fan of, where he was like, I apologize to the crowd, I didn't mean you're next, I mean I'm next for the Universal title. And I was like, shut up, Goldberg. God. Put it this way, I'm happy he's never going to wrestle again. I don't look forward to his matches anymore.
Really? I didn't. Well, the time I was completely put off him was Undertaker versus Goldberg. That was terrible. But the ones since then have been so good that I actually was looking forward to.
Yeah, well, you know, my thoughts on his Lashley build was threatening to kill him. I wasn't a fan of that. And
no,
I'm not a fan of a lot of stuff Goldberg does.
And he kind of did kill him when he like went off the stage through the table.
Yeah.
And we'll get to it later, but Lashley pretty much got destroyed here as well. So basically, they fly him to Saudi Arabia to get wrecked. That's
his Saudi record is not great, is it? Lashley.
Poor old Lashley. Anyway, we're jumping ahead there, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, let's move on. We mentioned Chamber, and that's a slight segue into the next match on the card, which is the Women's Chamber.
First of all, I love the outfits.
Yeah,
I think we should be using some of these, shouldn't we?
You know, a couple of years back, also last year, we had kind of the oversized T-shirt look, and this time is a lot better. Like I say, the outfits look amazing. I thought Belair, Liv, all of them looked absolutely incredible. Rhea.
Cool. Yeah. I think she could wear it every week, and she just looks so cool, just so badass, just coming down to that ring. Yeah. I wouldn't want to fight her. That's for sure. I wouldn't want to fight any of them actually, but
no, I think they'll all beat us up.
But just so cool, and the crowd just got so excited for these entrances as well. It's brilliant to see.
The crowd are right behind them, aren't they? Yeah, right behind them. We started with Nikki, A.S.H, and Doudrop. Oh no, we didn't. Sorry, Nikki, A.S.H, and Liv started the match. Then Doudrop entered. And then Rhea was next out, and we had
Miss Bliss.
Miss Bliss, and then Belair last, which we knew.
Just decided to call her Miss Bliss.
Miss Bliss was out. Yeah, I mean, people would have seen the video from a couple of days ago, but you were a big fan of Alexa Bliss in this match. I mean, anything in particular that stood out? Just
she did a Hurricanrana, which was like it wasn't a Hurricanrana, but it looked. That's the only way I can describe it. But it was just insane. I think she's definitely been training while she's been off. It was almost like she came out of the cage. They all do it, but she came out of the cage with like a massive hot tag almost. She hit a sunset power bomb Oh no, sorry, that wasn't Bliss. That was Liv on Doudrop, which I thought was insane.
Oh yeah, that was it, and that's what got Doudrop eliminated, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was so good. But I just like the way Alexa just sort of flew out the starting blocks and just went crazy. I'm not too sure what's going on with her character at the moment, because it almost seemed like she was still her old character.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I'm a bit confused, but this could be a build to Mania where they're going to carry on with the counselling or something like that, and she's going to be able to have a bit of split personality. It does feel we have a few too many of these stories going on at the moment, though. I mean, we've got Damian Priest, who, though he seems to have dropped it with a split personality.
Yeah,
we've got Alexa, and I think there are some more, but I can't quite think of them at the moment. But what did you think of Alexa coming back?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think she was not rusty at all. She was absolutely bang on it straight away and looked amazing. And yeah, you forget how good she is, because before she went away, she was in this weird feud with Randy Orton, so she wasn't really wrestling. She was doing weird promos, sitting on a swing with, and I think she had the match with Charlotte just before she went away, actually, that title match. But hasn't done too much for quite a while in terms of in-ring regular.
It's got to be a year, hasn't it? It's got to be at least a year.
So I'm ready for her to be back full time and to be showing how good, because she's one of the best wrestlers they've got, and the best actress they've got in terms of character work. She is the best by far. Even when she was
needed too, isn't she?
When she was in the pod, like some of her like interactions with people when they walk past, she's just brilliant.
The swing was so good there.
Amazing.
I thought that was a real clever touch. Just imagine
amazing.
The DIY guy going, "Oh, put this swing in here for Alexa." She's requested it. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm not disappointed, I suppose, that she has her same character. I'm intrigued to see where it's going to go. I'll be disappointed if we carry on and she is the Sister Abigail or whatever it was for a while.
Yeah,
I'm hoping we start to drop that, and it's a slow transition. Even if we get Goddess Bliss back, that was amazing.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
A slight rendition.
I was intrigued what music she'd come out to originally, when I was like, oh, this could be Alexa Bliss next. What's she going to come out to? And what's interesting as well is how they usually do the chamber is the last two people that entrances come out, they are the two that start the match. But obviously they had Alexa come out sixth. And so my first thought was, Alexa starting the match. This is a bit of a surprise for someone who's just come back to start a chamber match. And then obviously she went in the pod, but they had to leave her till last because she was the big comeback, I guess.
They did that in both, didn't they?
And I thought maybe she's going to have her old music, but no, she had the same music she had before the theme.
I guess the reason for that is people aren't thinking, who's this?
Yeah, but I reckon
if you get that initial pop,
if you hit her old music, that's it's quite a
her old music.
Yeah, I reckon that would have been quite a cool. But I guess it depends what they want to do with her character. And whether I'm sure they have a plan, because they've given her a lot of screen time. And yeah, I mean, I said before, I want to see her and Rhea go at it at Mania. I thought we might get that built up here. We didn't really. There's no real. I don't know about you. I didn't really notice any kind of side feuds here, other than Rhea destroying Nikki A.S.H. I think it's the end of that feud rather than the start of it.
That needs to be. I'm glad that's done. I don't want any more of that. I want Nikki A.S.H. to drop that gimmick now completely. I don't know what they're going to do with her. But yeah, I agree. There wasn't any. I didn't notice anything like any grudges starting or anything like that. We had some spots with Rhea and Belair again, which was amazing. And I really want to see that in the future.
Yeah, they
I
look
think
great,
we could probably. I'm sort of thinking way ahead. Belair wins the title at Mania. I think her first feud could possibly be Rhea Ripley, which could be amazing.
Well, Rhea's the real winner of the last. This build up to Elimination Chamber and the Chamber, because she's looked so good. And she's gone from being a tag team partner with Nikki A.S.H. doing nothing special at all for months to a real contender and someone you want to see in a title picture now. Like, you really want to see her in there.
They've done really well with that. They've been so good. And she deserves it, because the last sort of 6 months to a year, she's been used really badly. made to look quite weak and a bit of a joke. So they've done great in completely flipping this around, and she looks like a true title contender. If they wanted to put her in a Mania match for the title, it would work.
It would, yeah. And, you know, if she'd have won this match, it wouldn't have been crazy. What's interesting here, I thought was that what, like, you know, sometimes, and we'll get to it later, there's one person who gets most eliminations, whereas here it was quite spread out.
Yeah.
You had Rhea eliminate Nikki, you had Liv eliminate Doudrop, you had Bliss eliminate Liv, and then Belair eliminate Ripley. So they all had one each, and then obviously it's Blair and Bliss last two. So obviously Belair got 2 eliminations in the end, but it's quite, I was kind of keeping a track of who's eliminating who and what does that mean, but it was all quite spread out, which was interesting. So they didn't really make anyone look stronger than anyone else here. They kind of kept, apart from Belair, they kept it all quite even.
Yeah. The only strength, the real strong sort of display was Belair holding Liv above her head with one hand.
Yeah, amazing.
Just incredible. Just to lift someone up like that is mad enough, but to then hold them with one arm, I know they stabilize and things like that with the other opponent, but still absolutely incredible. And as you say, everyone looked great. No one really looked really bad. Nikki A.S.H was there for a reason. Rhea
she didn't do too much, did she? Yeah.
But generally, everyone was just pretty amazing, to be honest.
Yeah, and
I it was a real cool spot with Rhea and Belair basically facing off. She's like almost having a power struggle, both holding an opponent in a suplex for quite a long time. Just a really fun, but also sort of intense and serious spot, which I just thought, amazing. Well, and you're building to something in the future.
Yeah, I think that's really significant or it could be significant because Belair's kind of USP is her strength, and they show her strength all the time. And we saw there Rhea match her for strength in that moment. And there's not many women they would get to, I mean, there's probably not many that could match her strength, but there's not many that they would. The fact that they put her in that spot 50-50 with Belair is interesting.
They don't even do it with Doudrop, whereas with Doudrop, they do to other opponents, but not against Belair. They kept to the strength on Belair, which I think that's the way they want to go with her. Something I'd like to see, again, we're thinking way ahead, but Rhea versus Belair, I could see them having like 3 matches and you make it one apiece because they are so beastie and it's like Clash of the Titans almost. I think you could have a really good thing there. Maybe not have 8 like we had with Sheamus and Cesaro them years ago. No, maybe not 8 matches, but then again, those were absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they were.
Was there anything in this you weren't too sure on or too keen on?
No, I was happy with all of it. You know, the only thing I thought is we might see Rhea and Belair in the last 2. I thought we might see that, but we ended up Rhea got eliminated by Belair, and then it was Bliss in the last 2, which makes sense completely. And it's just interesting to see what they were going to do with Bliss in this match. I think that was the most intriguing one because it's her first match back, and how do you treat her? You know, you always think. I think there's a few people in our predictions league who predicted Bliss to win, probably for that reason. It's her first match back. They're probably going to have to go over. And I did. I don't know about you, but I did wonder when it got down to the 2. I thought, is Bliss going to win this? I really thought there was a potential chance.
Yeah.
Because they could have easily done Bliss and Becky at Mania, and that'd be interesting.
I think
on the
it'd be a bit of a
shame
if they brought her back to do that. Especially the fact that you've got Ronda, who's literally just come back and walked straight into the title picture. I know Bliss is much more of a worker, but I think it would be a bit odd to have 2 that just come back.
Yeah, and Belair deserves it, of course.
Definitely. I suppose that's maybe a very, very minor criticism. It was quite obvious Belair. It was an obvious one because she came in 6th. I'd have almost, although then again, if you brought her in first and had her wipe everyone out, it's the same story as with the Rumble. So I guess in a way, make the strong one win the match, get the best spot and win.
Yeah, well, that's again, we'll go into later, but that's the theme of the night was both chamber matches. The probably odds-on favourite entered last and won. Like no real shocks.
Well, that is an amazing moment to tell everyone that you and I came joint first on the predictions with
got everything spot on.
Everything that went ahead.
Yeah, other than the tag match we'll get to later, but which never happened. But
the only part that it's not really bad. It's not a criticism, but it's not good. Liv got accidentally stuck by her boot, I think, or a knee pad.
Yeah, I think it was Rhea who kind of picked her off because she was doing a move to 2-drop, I think, and then Rhea kind of noticed
that
it.
Looked nasty. Looked like it kind of hurt her knee. I haven't seen anything to say she's injured, but I did see her sort of whether she was playing on it because she knows she'd got caught on it, but I can't imagine that feels too nice. But they did recover very well from that.
Yeah, I think it's good because I don't think Liv was going to be able to get herself out of it because she was stuck. So I think it was good that Rhea noticed that and helped her out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was good. All right.
I think that was probably my match of the night. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, no, I actually agree. I think that was the best match of the whole card. Yeah, 100% agree with that. Actually, yeah, definitely. Let's move on then to tag team match. Charlotte Flair and Sonia Deville v Naomi and Ronda Rousey. Ronda with one arm behind her back, and obviously it kicks off with Sonia ripping off her cast, which I think's very obvious that was going to happen. Knowing the character Sonia is, and this was interesting actually. One thing I thought interesting in this match was how much damage Ronda took in this match. There was a bit where Sonia and Charlotte were just like toying with her for a bit, Ronda, and I was like, oh, is this Ronda Rousey? Like I can't remember many times in her previous run.
Ronda though,
one-armed, yeah, and that's the story there. But I've just not seen her be that like not in control in the match from memory.
I think it'd be too similar to our last run if they just came in. She's super dominant and sort of wipes the floor. So I guess the one way to still keep her in that dominant figure is to tie her hand behind her back. Quite clever. I suppose it also shows her sort of how confident she is being able to go into a match. I thought Sonia looked great.
I actually wouldn't mind seeing. Well. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing her back full time, Sonia, in the ring. As good as she is as a GM, I'd actually quite like her as in her role. But yeah, I'd like to see her back in the ring because she is really good.
You should have an addition. She definitely is an addition to that division.
Yeah, exactly. And the SmackDown division isn't massive, so. Well, I say so, I guess she's on both shows, but.
Yeah, she goes where she wants. You can
SmackDown probably needs her most, given the quality of that women's chamber match on Raw. That's the woman on Raw. And that's not including Carmella and Zelina on Raw as well. There's a lot of, or Dana Brooke, or there's a few. So one thought I had is slightly different, I think, to what you just said is, I wonder whether they had Ronda. I wonder if they had Ronda one-armed because she's not quite ready for a full match yet. I wonder if this was a way to protect her looking bad. Because she hasn't looked good so far. I don't know what you think, but in her run, in her short couple of weeks back, the promos have been ropey, nothing special. She's a lot better. First time around, she looked the real deal. And it's just, I think in a couple of the brawls, her punches have looked a bit funny, and she kind of fluffed the hitting Charlotte's head on the table on SmackDown on Friday. You probably, I don't know if you saw the videos go around online of like a fan footage where Charlotte has to like push her head into the table because Ronda just misses it completely.
I think I saw that, but I didn't think too much into it.
On the show they cut it really. They kind of cut camera to. But yeah,
very interesting theory, and to be honest, makes complete sense. Because you're not going to be good at wrestling if you have one arm, so nobody's going to expect you to look good.
Yeah,
and 3 months between now and Mania, where she may have no matches, she might just do a few arm drags on people. She's got plenty of time to get good. Charlotte Flair can carry a lot of people if she wants to. I think I also mentioned before that they seem to keep Charlotte away from Ronda quite a lot, which I think is very clever. you're keeping the spice for that match of how good are they going to be, and also plays into your theory of you don't want Ronda to be looking not good up against Charlotte, and you also don't want to annoy Charlotte because she's not wrestling well, making Charlotte look bad.
Yeah, no, definitely. And really, we got the ending of the armbar on Sonia Deville whilst trash talking Charlotte. I think it's quite a cool finish to the match.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Charlotte backing off was awesome, I thought.
Yeah, like
sort of like, you know what? I don't need this.
Yes.
You break her arm, whatever, which is great. I wonder whether Sonia might take dislike to that. That could be quite a clever way, because obviously she doesn't like Naomi and Ronda. But could she then play into this even more? So you almost don't know who is going to get the sort of foul hand given to them. I doubt it, but it could be something quite cool.
It is, and they could do the angle of you're suspended to get Ronda off TV for a few months, or like, you know, for a couple of weeks maybe, just to give it time in the gym, in the ring backstage to work. I don't know, but I think Fisher mentioned before they did that last year with or the last Ronda
let's
run.
Hope we don't get it again.
So it's a bit samey, but they're kind of in a corner though. If they don't think Ronda is ready in ring, if that's the reason why they did what they did yesterday, and again, it's just my speculation. That is not, I have no knowledge of that at all. But if that's the reason, then they can't pull Ronda for the match because she's too big a name. So they have to go with it. And they've just got to hope Ronda improves in ring, I guess, if that's the fear. And we know how good she was. She was amazing first time round. And she, like I say, she hasn't had a proper match yet since she's been back. A proper, one-on-one match. So
put her in the ring with Charlotte. I don't
maybe
think
she'd be great.
Any worries at all.
No, you're probably right.
We've concentrated quite a lot on Ronda, Sonia and Charlotte, but
we haven't mentioned Naomi at all, have we? Yeah,
she looked so good in this match. She always does. She needs a push towards the title at some point. Even maybe if we give her a tag team partner, put her in the tag and actually make these tag belts, we've said it so many times, mean something. Maybe not the Funky Dactyls, but someone with a little bit more talent on her side.
Naomi and Aaliyah or someone.
Yeah.
Thinking of SmackDown woman, that's about it.
Yeah, or just maybe headed towards the title after Mania would be great, because they have built her up for a long time. It'd be a shame if they just stopped.
They have, and that's the thing. She's had a lot of TV time. She's had, a couple of matches with Charlotte now for the belt. The last one, which was really good. Yeah. She's been paired with Ronda Rousey. This is, that's not a small feat, to be picked, because they could have gone with Shayna here, who's got history with Ronda, but they went, obviously Naomi fits into storyline better. So that makes sense, but they obviously feel good about Naomi at the moment. But like the 5 women who didn't win the chamber match earlier, Naomi fits into that category, alongside potentially Sasha Banks, who we haven't seen since Rumble.
She definitely wasn't ready.
Yeah, there's got to be, because she was out too quickly and then hasn't been seen since. I don't know why they brought her back for the Rumble. Almost, it seems a bit weird they brought her back if she's not fully
just
fit.
Such a big name, just trying to drive it in. We'd have to watch back, but if you watched, she was probably very well protected. Of her injury, but it also makes it so exciting because we don't know what she's going to do.
Or when she's going to do it. She could come back at any point. She could come back on Friday. We'll all look stupid.
Yeah.
We just don't know. And we've still got Bayley and Asuka and who else? Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
Who are all coming back.
Are they going to come back soon? Are they going to be after WrestleMania?
It must be soon. Bayley's original diagnosis was like 9 months out, and it must be about 9 months ago. She's got to be close, Bayley. Asuka, I think there's been social media pictures she's posted herself of her like looking, used, because I think it was an arm injury she had, and she's been using her arm in the gym. So Asuka's not far off either. And the fact they've not brought any of these women back, it might be because they had the Mania matches set, and why bring them back if you've got nothing for them?
Yeah.
Especially considering you've got Liv, Alexa, Rhea, Naomi, with nothing, Sasha, nothing really to do at Mania as is.
And they've brought in Lita, they've brought in Ronda. So it's almost
Beth
like
Phoenix
they're
might come back.
replacing. Yeah. So there's your replacements. So in a way, as much as it'd be exciting when they do come out, and as you say, if they come out on Friday, we're going to look stupid.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind if they left Bayley, Oscar, Lacey till after Mania. When we start doing drafts, let's have a surprise of, and I'm drafting Bayley. Bang! We haven't seen her in ages. Suddenly, Bayley buddies everywhere. No, as much as I love Bayley buddies, it's probably best not to return.
Yeah.
I
think her old character was better. Her heel character.
Give us a surprise, but yeah, the match was okay for me. It wasn't fantastic, but listening to your theory, I hadn't actually thought about that, and it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's just a theory. Who knows with that one. All right, let's move on to Madcap Moss and Drew, who had their street fight. And were you surprised when Corbin attacked him straight away for a 2-on-1?
In a way, yes, because I don't think WWE tend to be that clever, I suppose. With their set, it's like almost too obvious. Well, why wouldn't you use your partner if you're allowed to do it? They don't do that, do they? They wait right to the end and get a distraction and a roll up. So I actually loved this, and it's definitely going to the Corbin Drew at Mania, which actually now makes sense why Drew's been having this feud with Madcap Moss. Corbin's been doing nothing because we've been saying, why isn't he wrestling? He's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
He's good on the mic. Why isn't he being used? But now's the time. I've been saying this whole podcast, we've got 3 months till Mania. We don't. We've got just over a month and a half. Is it?
Yeah, it's start of April. Yeah, 3rd of April.
So Ronda better hurry up. She
better, yeah.
But yeah, would you expect the Corbin to join in?
Not straight away, no. I was, like you say, they don't often do it from kickoff, from the bell ringing, which was cool though. It's interesting. And you're right, this is going to Mania because again, I thought this match was really good. One of my more favorite matches of the night. I thought this was a really good one.
Yeah.
And I thought Madcap continues to impress me, by the way. He is a lot better than people give him credit for. He's not just a sidekick. He is a serious talent. And it's almost a shame that these two, Corbin and Moss, are so jokey, because if you gave them serious time and in ring, I reckon they are a serious team, or have them as a team or however. Yeah. And one thing I just will say quickly before I pass back to you is, if we're going to Corbin Drew at Mania, which I think's almost definite at this point, let's see Corbin built up in the next month, because we know how good Drew is. We know he's unstoppable. Let's have a month of Corbin destroying people. Let's have Corbin look as strong as he can possibly look to make that match as good as you can at Mania.
Now you've said that, I would love it if they pull Drew away from Corbin and almost have Drew coming out because Corbin is kicking the hell out of people. So, like you say, build him up so he's absolutely destroying people. Mad Cat and Corbin are just beating down on people. Drew comes out of his sword, runs down to the ring, and then they make a fool of him by running away.
Sword, yeah.
I'm almost feeling now, though, we need Drew to lose. It's too obvious he's going to win that match. But are they going to make Drew lose at WrestleMania? No.
Maybe.
It's
one
of those.
I don't know. I just think one way to get there is to just make Corbin look great. And SmackDown has a couple of faces. Ricochet, as an example. He could throw Ricochet around like a rag doll. You could have him destroy Cesaro. I mean, Mansoor's on. You can have him destroy. Where was Mansoor on this show? Saudi Arabian show. First one he's ever missed. He's won every other match in history of Saudi Arabian shows, but he wasn't here for some reason. And
they probably didn't want him to be WWE champion.
Well, previously he's not been on the roster, and now he is on the roster. He's not there. It's a bit weird. Maybe he's injured. Maybe that's why. But you could have him throw around Mansoor, you could have him throw around Kofi. I would go as far as have him destroy Kofi. I would have Corbin go through faces. Like I say, maybe have Drew try and save them. But he is so dominant that Drew's having to step in. That's how good Corbin is. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
And I think that is a way you can build up to Mania, to these two going head to head and actually feeling like Corbin has a chance. Because right now, you're right. There is no chance Corbin's beating Drew at Mania.
No.
There's no chance.
We want them to convince us, don't we?
We do. And I think they might give the build to Drew. They'll just build Drew up a bit more, which they doesn't need to really.
No, he doesn't. I mean, he's almost won multiple handicap matches 2-on-1. Unless there's someone else in the wings they're waiting to bring in to make this even more unfair. So Corbin has somebody else on his side, and Drew just gets beaten up all the way to Mania. I mean, it'd be still obvious that he's going to win, but it's a way to build him.
Yeah,
I do kind of like the way that his partners are swords. It gets a bit silly sometimes, but one thing I did like was that spot at the end where he claymored him with the claymore in his hand. I thought that was cool.
I'm not sure about that one. I was like, why has he got the sword in his hand? It doesn't add to the claymore move at all. It's just
it was almost to say
unnecessarily dangerous.
He's saying, "Don't come near me."
I liked his pin and pointing the sword at Corbin. I like that. I don't. Yeah. And also, he swung his sword at Corbin's head.
Yeah, that's a bit ropey.
Did not hold back at all. Corbin ducked, obviously, but Jesus Christ!
Let's hope we don't get decapitation.
I cannot believe they are allowing Drew to actually have a sword in the ring, swinging it at people.
One bit I got a bit nervous about was when he was in the crowd celebrating. And he had his sword there. I was thinking, he's either going to accidentally poke someone's eye out with it, or someone's going to steal it. It looks pretty heavy. Well, that would make sense. It can't. It's definitely going to be blunt. That's for sure.
The way he swung it was with full force. And okay, Corbin ducked, and it's obviously rehearsed loads, but one misstep and Corbin's got no head anymore. If that's a real.
I like the way the commentator was like, "Well, that's allowed in this match."
But... Oh yeah. No, did you see the ref? Ref was like, I can't do anything.
Police don't care.
Attempted murder. He's
heads on the floor.
So one thing I wanted to ask is, you guys mentioned yesterday about Madcap being dropped on his head. I missed this. I didn't see this. When did this happen? Or what?
So it was sort of in the middle of the match. I'm not too sure what move it was, but it was almost like he threw Madcap pretty much.
Okay, so Madcap continued for a while and wrestled after this. So
yeah, he didn't stop.
Probably okay, yeah. You'd hope so.
But that's difficult to say with wrestlers because they are so fit and so determined. They've got the adrenaline pumping through their body. That I've not seen anything to say he's injured. I mean, he's so muscle bound though. To any one of us landed on our head, we seriously injure ourselves, but his neck and shoulder muscles are he's absolutely shredded, isn't he? So hopefully he's that muscly and strong that it didn't really affect him too much. And it was just a bit of a shake to him. But he carried on wrestling. He was absolutely fine. They didn't hold back for the rest of that match. That's for sure. As you say, he's looking amazing. Let's hope that after Mania, we either split up Corbin and Moss or we make them a serious team. I think Corbin as well is ready for a new gimmick.
Yeah.
And a new character.
He hasn't really done the tag team division ever because he's always been the lone wolf. He's never done this. So I think make them serious. That was his old name, wasn't it? Yeah, the lone wolf. Yeah. Make them a proper team. Give them I guess they're called the happy folks, but give them a slightly better gimmick and have them as tag champs. Have them like a real destructive heel team. Could be really cool, I think.
Yeah,
I'm well behind Corbin and Moss right now. I think they're great.
I've always loved Corbin. It's quite an unpopular opinion.
In ring, Corbin is incredible. He just doesn't get to show it very often, does he?
No, he's really good, and he's got some big old moves that just. I can't remember when I last saw an End of Days.
I don't think it's ever been kicked out of. I don't, honestly, I think it's one of the few protected finishers.
Such a good move. It's one of those finishes that looks cool, doesn't it? It just looks so. And you've got his signature move. It's the deep six.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah,
which is I just love it when he just like flings people around. Let's get. Well, I'm excited to see now. Hopefully, we get Corbin in the ring.
Yeah. And okay, one thing we know, even if Drew's gonna win at Mania, it's gonna be a good match because both of them are great in ring. So it's going to be good. It isn't necessarily exciting or doesn't really draw much attention, but it will be a really solid wrestling match, won't it? It'll be really good.
And plus, over 2 nights, you need these matches. Kind of filler, but you've got two popular wrestlers, but good
one
wrestlers.
Very unpopular.
And Drew, very popular. Corbin's a great heel, isn't he? But so I think it's needed on the card. But
maybe the best heel in the company, although maybe it is the Miz, who we had an interview with after this match backstage.
I was going to say, hang on, when did we interview the Miz?
We didn't. I would love to.
That'd be great, wouldn't it, Miz? If you're listening,
if you're listening, Miz. But no, he was interviewed backstage and talk about Rey cheating, and he said that he will have to find a way to even the odds, and says he has someone in mind. Do you have any clues on who this might be?
I would like it to be John Morrison. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it should. I really think it should. But I think Fisher battered the idea around of a celebrity. What do you think?
Yeah, I heard you guys mention yesterday about Bad Bunny. I can't.
No, not Bad Bunny. Logan Paul. Bad Bunny was my wish. I wanted
not Logan Paul. So do you know what I thought when this happened? My first thought was Cody. This is how you bring Cody in. Yes. You have Cody team with Miz, because I'm sure they've got some history. I can't remember it particularly Cody and Miz's history back in, but they must have some because they were around at the same time.
The only problem with this is it seems a bit underwhelming to do that.
That is the thing. It is underwhelming, but I mean, you say that Cody's going to be in a tag match with Rey Mysterio, who's a pretty big star. I mean, who knows? And maybe Cody, this is a short-term thing for Mania, and Cody then moves on to the title after Mania. I don't know, but that was my initial thought. Was could be basically I'm looking around at potential Mania options, and I don't have much for Cody right now. He's not getting a title match because there's only one. He's not, who else? Drew's paired off. Okay, you could go for AJ or Seth, I guess. There is those options, of course, but
either of those would be absolutely insane.
Yeah, they would. Of course they would.
In fact, out of those,
you're just gonna say Seth, aren't you?
No, I'm actually thinking more AJ, just because of the sort of strong indie background and things like that.
Yeah, although there is rumors online that they're looking at AJ and Edge for Mania.
Yes, I've seen
which would be insane, of course. Yeah. That'd be amazing.
All right, let's just give him Seth then. Let's have Seth.
And then you have Cody, Seth, or you have...
But then Seth, I think, needs a win. You can't. Yes, he looked amazing, and he got a win against Roman, but he didn't win.
Thank you.
And he just got. We're going to go on to it later, but an absolute disgrace what happened in the Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah.
But I don't know who's good. It would make sense that they bring a celebrity in just because of the sort of matches Miz has. Doesn't have to be a big, real wrestling match. And I almost think Cody would almost outclass Miz too much in ring.
Yeah, he would.
But then John Morrison did. So I don't know. I really don't know.
And again, it all depends what they want Cody to do. They want to bring him in as a heel.
I like the way we're basically signing Cody's contract here. He's not even said. Wow, it's not 100%. It seems so, but
it is not 100%. But
we'll look so stupid if he turns up at AEW Revolution, won't we?
Yeah, probably. All right, let's move on to the next match, and someone who's not appearing at Revolution is Becky Lynch. Like, if it has to say that safely. Yeah. She had a match with Lita here, and again, I kind of mentioned it in the build-up, but I think Lita just looks great. She could come back full time, or for a run at least, because I think she looks great, and the crowd right behind her. Agree. Right behind her here. And one point in this match I thought was really cool was when Becky was going for the manhandle slam, and no, not manhandle slam. So she's going for the disarmer, sorry, and Lita was heading towards the ropes. So Becky picked her up and did the manhandle slam. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. That's really clever thinking. And then Lita got a foot on the rope for a 2 count. Because I thought that was it. That had me done. I thought that's the end of the match.
That was clever, very good positioning as well.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. And it's just so good to see Lita looking that good in ring. I mean, we were watching her 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And the moonsault, it's as if she never left. The way she does it, nobody looks like Lita when they do a moonsault. They tend to get more air. She seems to like almost go
like
flat.
nowhere, yeah.
It's strange. It's like so quick. It's like a proper snap moonsault. And it's still the same. I was really chuffed when the crowd was so behind her because I was a little bit worried. Maybe that I don't know whether they're a young crowd because Lita's are when we were young era, so 20 years ago, something like that, isn't it? Really?
Are you calling us old?
We are. We're old-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, we're Attitude Era, so that's when Lita was in her prime, really, wasn't it? So, but yeah, completely enjoyed it. I enjoyed Becky as well. I thought she was great. I liked the finish as well. It was sort of a manhandle slam, just about. She just beat her, which I thought was good. Also leaves it open for Lita to do more. It
does, although Lita at the end of the match, kind of her music hit after Becky walked out, and she was kind of saying thank you to the crowd. It seemed a bit like a goodbye to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking I'm reading too much into it, but it's like an unnecessarily long after match reaction from the loser. You don't get that very often. Maybe it's just because she was getting so much love from them. They gave her that moment. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's as simple as that. But
I hope so. I think if she's going to have her last match, it needs to be at Mania. Although it would look a bit cheesy now if she's already done it. She's already had her music play. But then again, she doesn't need to lose. If you keep her away from a belt, she can win. And I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah, have a beat like I don't really know. There's not too many disposable heels. I know Shayna Baszler. I don't know.
I still don't think anybody would look too bad by losing to her.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we could have a women's legend match. We don't have that. We don't really ever have that, do we?
No.
Beth Phoenix versus Lita. Imagine that. I mean, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. No,
I'll be quite sad if that was her last match. I will be. But I see what you mean. I completely see what you mean.
I agree. I was kind of the match finished and I was like, let's just go on a bit after match. Don't they usually cut away by now and they're still showing her saying goodbye to the crowd? Is just maybe it's nothing.
First match though, really, isn't it, on a big pay-per-view?
Yeah, like I say, she got such a good reaction. Maybe they just thought we'll give you some time with the crowd because you deserve it. You've put on a good show and they love you.
And that's when they thought, you know what? Segueing on to our next match here.
Yeah, we haven't got time for the next match, so
Viking Raiders versus Usos didn't even get in the ring. Which
what's the point? I don't. Why? Just
the only reason I can think is because maybe WWE were thinking the way I was thinking. Viking Raiders are not big enough for this spot. That's what I was thinking. They're not popular enough. When you compare it to the rest of the card.
For Elimination Chamber, though, it's just weird to book it and then not deliver. I mean, I didn't watch live like you guys, so I watched it on the network this morning, and so I had the benefit of seeing the time left on the show, and by the end of Lita's goodbye, with the crowd, there was about half an hour left of the show, and I was looking what's left, and I thought, I reckon they're just not going to do the tag match because I thought they probably missed out. They probably thought, oh, there's time's tight. We're not going to do it. We'll just, make up an excuse on Raw or something. Or maybe I missed an interview in the pre-show. So when Viking Raiders music hit, I thought this has got to be quick or the Chamber's quick, one of the two, because there was not long left. And it just ended in, well, it didn't even start. So it couldn't have ended. Nothing. It's just an attack from the steps, and that was kind of it. It wasn't.
I don't really know where we're going with this because I don't want Viking Raiders versus Usos at Mania. I want something more
Yeah.
Unless they start doing this, like we come out on Raw and they have a match against
SmackDown,
somebody else, SmackDown. They go everywhere, don't they?
They
They're
do
on every show.
a few times,
I've lost track of who's on what brand. But okay, let's say SmackDown, New Day come out, they beat them up before they get to the ring, and this then turns into a fatal 4-way tag match or something like that.
Yeah, maybe, because again, New Day are another team. We have no clue what they're doing at Mania. Right now, nothing at Mania. New Day. Poor old Big E.
We've said it so many times.
Yeah,
I don't want them to be a tag team. Let's get Big E doing something.
I mean, they had Big E on Raw as the world champion, and now he's back in New Day tag team for some reason. But
let's have Cody versus Big E.
Yeah, I'll take that. I would take that all day long.
But yeah, not much more to say about that.
No, nothing happened. So we're on to the main event of the show, the men's Elimination Chamber.
The hype for this, the lineup, when you look at that on paper, wow.
Yeah, brilliant lineup. And you think, okay, I think we said in our prediction videos, and we were proven right, that Brock will probably just destroy everyone and win. That's probably the most likely outcome because that's how they book Brock at the moment. But on paper, you're thinking Seth could be champ, AJ could be champ, Riddle could be champ, Lashley could be champ, or he is champ or was champ. Theory was the one you weren't sure on, but he was kind of the wild card in the match
because of the stuff with Vince.
Yeah, you thought there's a chance he could win it, I guess. But
when he got to the last two, I thought, hang on a minute, what's going on here?
So it's it, and again, it's interesting that he's the one they left the last two.
The only reason I think that is, I mean, let's go straight to the spot.
Yeah,
he got F5'd off the top of a pod.
Yeah.
If you did that to Seth, you would have wrecked his knees, which you can't do that because he's got those injured knees. AJ's mid-40s. He's probably got some niggles. You can't be throwing people like that around.
Riddle,
Lashley's too big,
maybe.
So you wouldn't have been able to do it anyway.
Could have done it to Riddle, I guess.
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
But I guess Theory is the heel. So that's why you want Brock to be cheered. And you had kind of before that, you had him chasing him around the chamber.
That was so good.
A point where Theory nearly got out the top of the chamber. I was like, I've never seen this before. I thought at one point they were going to go on top of the chamber. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I was worried at all of these parts when he was stood on top of the pod and he was just smashing his head against the and
like
glass.
he wasn't getting his hands up either. It just his head was going against that plexiglass.
He was wanting to put himself over, and he did just that.
I think he looked incredible. My standout of the match from Theory, I thought he looked amazing. And he's another one. They are clearly behind Theory. They're giving him these moments with Brock Lesnar in the main event of your match in
he's had
Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
In fact, since he's sort of been on the main roster, I know he went back down again. He's been with Seth, he's been with Vince, and now he's had real big spots with Brock.
Yeah, and he's beaten Finn Balor and Kevin Owens clean on Raw as well.
There we go.
With his finisher, just clean wins.
It's not just his wrestling that's amazing though. His facial expressions and his acting when he's in the ring. As well, it's just
he's destined for the top. 100% Theory. He's incredible. He's
always reminded me of John Cena, just in the way he looks.
Well, he's got the physique, hasn't he? Well, Cena starting out physique anyway. Cena now was a bit bigger. I mean, I guess
start from a spot right at the beginning.
Yeah, so I think we have to start there, don't we?
We mentioned earlier about the entrances being a bit different and they're not putting people in the pods. But I love the way Brock came out. He's just so good as a face. I'm absolutely loving it. I don't want heel Brock again because I'm loving it. And the way he rubbed up against AJ Styles' pod and he couldn't fit through between the turnbuckle and the pod and he squashed himself wiggling along the pods and he was just laughing as he was doing it. I just thought it was so cool. So he's got that intimidation factor, but it's still funny, which I just think's it's where has this come from? Where has this
all of a sudden his acting ability seems incredible, which is something he's his whole run has been he's been kind of motionless and just a destroyer. He's never really had this character side to him. So this is amazing. If he's had us the whole time, why has he been hiding it away?
I don't think he has. I think
No,
he's
he must have
also
been working on
taken
it.
himself a lot less serious.
Yeah.
I think maybe when he had his UFC background, people would be like, you're a joke. Whereas now, he's past that. He's just, I just want to have fun, enjoy myself. And we're enjoying it. We're
so
the
much.
benefactors of this. It's so good. And I don't mind seeing him. He's wrestling. He's coming out every week and actually doing something. So him and WWE got on this spot on, which is just so good. So good.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll kind of start with the start of the match. And we mentioned about Theory being probably the star of the show. He got he got power bombed by Seth through the chamber onto Lashley, which is a big spot to take from Theory, because he is being he's not only being buckle bombed, he's being buckle bombed through plexiglass onto Bobby Lashley. Like, that's not a soft landing. He's no. And this is how they got Lashley out of the match. Just interesting here. Wasn't expecting this at all.
What was you thinking at the time?
I honestly,
discounting everything you've seen and read and heard from me,
I did not think Lashley was going to leave the match when originally I thought, oh, that's a cool spot. Maybe Lashley's going to come out early then. Lashley's going to come out early and destroy Theory or something. That's what I thought was going to happen. So it didn't. And then when he went out, I thought, oh, okay. Why is he leaving the match? And I thought, oh, he'll just return later. That's what happened. Lashley will return later. We see this all the time. Someone picks up an injury, they walk off backstage, they come back later and maybe wins the match. I thought maybe there's a chance Lashley comes back and wins, but yeah, doesn't come back. And yeah, there's stories, isn't there, that he's actually injured.
Yeah. So I, like you, thought, oh, is he going to come back later? And that's how he's going to beat Brock, because he's fresh. I did think it was a real injury when I saw the guy in the red suit, because I thought, I don't know if you noticed the guy in the red suit. But
I can't say I did.
Yeah. There was Adam Pearce and the guy in the red suit. And I was thinking, I wonder if that's a producer who's deciding what to do, saying, right, you were supposed to win. What the hell do we do? Let's quickly think this through. I was also thinking, is Cody Rhodes going to come in this spot? Are we going to get somebody else come in? But no, he went out and that was it. Yeah. But it has since come out, which I have no idea how they've hidden this so long. It's very impressive. But Bobby Lashley apparently picked up an injury at Royal Rumble, and he actually is injured. If you think back to all the Raws we've had since Rumble, he's not actually wrestled.
He's done almost nothing.
Apparently, also, if you watch back at the Brock match, he was trying not to land on his shoulder from the German suplexes. So I think it was done quite early on. So it's all starting to add up. The likelihood is he's going to have surgery, which could put him out for 4 months plus, which would mean he'd miss Mania. I mean, obviously, these guys are absolute machines. We've seen it with Drew McIntyre. They give him like a 9-month return and then they come back in 2. So you never know. We're not saying that Lashley's definitely going to be out. Sometimes these things aren't as serious as they think, but just a shame, really, because he's been on such a momentous run. But what a spot to put him out. I mean, I believed it. I thought he was injured.
Yeah, it did cross my mind that he's actually, because again, you don't often see it where the match continues and just in the background you're seeing someone get medically kind of taken care of. I mean, I'll compare it to, probably quite generously, compare it to Cora Jade in the women's War Games, where she was down and there's a point where I thought, she actually injured? Are they, because they were all protecting her, I thought, oh, maybe she's legitimately injured because she sold it so well. Yeah. And that's what I thought here. I thought, is he actually injured? But it didn't cross my mind that he was injured. And literally until the start, before we did this call today, I didn't know that he's actually injured, because I've not been on Twitter today at all. So I haven't seen anything in the fallout from this. So it is real shame for Lashley, because he's on absolute fire at the moment. He has been. And I wonder whether they were gonna, I wonder if that, thinking back now, would that, because that injury happened at the start of Royal Rumble, would that have had any thinking into Lesnar winning the Rumble? Like, because Lesnar and Reigns
Yeah.
were set up in that match, so they could have had someone else win to face Lashley. But if they knew then Lashley's not going to make Mania, so why have someone face Lashley? Let's just have Lesnar.
The only thing is,
Reigns.
The only thing that would sort of tip that upside down, I suppose, is I don't think they'd have known how serious it was on the night. If he'd only just done it, they wouldn't have had any results from scans and things. They probably wouldn't have even done them.
Maybe
so it's unlikely, but I guess in a way it pans out okay. It's quite cool they brought Lashley, to be honest, because they could have quite easily just said he's injured. We're going to make a 6-man.
Brand new champ.
Chamber.
Throw Orton in there or someone. Yeah.
But the spot was awesome. So fair
play. It was,
play.
Proper. Looked good. I mean, again, one of my first thoughts after the match finished was, well, would they have Lashley win at Rumble for him to then lose it almost straight away back to Brock again? It seems a bit weird if the final goal was champion v champion at Mania. So I felt sorry for Lashley, but the injury does make a bit more sense as to why they've done.
Also, you needed a title change here. That was the only belt that changed hands. So I think if you go pay-per-view with no title changes, it's not as exciting. It's a bit lackluster, isn't it? We had that, I think, 2 years ago, and it felt so obvious every match. Whereas now, just entertaining pay-per-view. Really loved it. Really did.
Yeah. But
so
definitely.
Something I didn't enjoy, though.
Yeah.
I think you can guess what I didn't like. I mean, before I get into that, Brock bursting out of his pods, sort of like, I've had enough of this, was amazing. And I did read somewhere that apparently he wasn't scripted to do that.
Yeah, I did wonder, because when it come to the last person to come out and it was going between, I was like, Lashley's not in the match. Why is it going to his pod? And then when it went to him to open, I was like, that's weird. So I just thought it was weird. And then when he broke, I was like, that's a cool spot. So yeah, it's interesting if he wasn't scripted to do that, because he looked great, and that's just fits Brock's character perfectly to do that, I think.
I loved it. And then he just destroyed everyone, which was kind of cool, but Seth went out first.
F5s, left, right, and center. Yeah, but Seth and AJ just straight away gone. Oh no, was it Seth and Riddle actually went up straight away, I think. AJ.
Yeah, we had Seth, then Riddle, and then AJ, all with F5s.
Yeah, and it's actually after the one on Riddle is when we found, when the commentator said Lashley won't return. They said that then, which was interesting. They didn't say it straight away. They left it a bit, said it's concussion.
Felt
protocol.
like a real injury, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, when they said that, I was like, oh, okay.
And I know we can't going back to it as well, but the camera angles they used was amazing. And the wrestlers like Riddle and Seth, I think, were wrestling on top of the turnbuckle where Lashley was. But it was like they were trying to shield him away, which is what they do when there's a proper injury. So it was really clever, really well done. I mean, I actually was concerned for him at the time. So brilliant acting. Yeah,
amazing. And I'll say we've kind of covered the ending, but yeah, just Theory and Lesnar. Love it.
I like the fact Theory got a low blow.
Yeah, that was cool.
Really clever way of actually getting him to actually wrestle, because otherwise, I mean, you can't have him block Brock and outstrength him or anything like that. So really,
I mean, was there any thought in your mind that Theory might be WWE champion and beat Brock Lesnar? Did that ever cross your mind?
I don't think so.
No,
Not
even
now
after the low blow and all that, you thought, oh, maybe.
I don't think. I mean, I was intrigued as to why he was there, but unfortunately, I'm almost sold on the fact that Theory's Mania is up in arms because Shane got ditched.
Yeah.
If Shane was still around and Vince was still doing these promos with Theory, potentially he could win it and then make some weird feud some weird story that Vince is like favoritizing him. I don't know. That's probably going way too far. But no, not really. How about you?
No, not at all. No. I was fairly confident Lesnar's going to win from the start. I never really had much doubt on that from the moment he was announced into the chamber to the 1, 2, 3 and this match. I was pretty convinced throughout. And the reason why I predicted Lesnar was you can't have anyone beat him. You just can't do it. He's going on to face Reigns, your biggest That's your big. That's your number one match at WrestleMania.
The only
you
thing
cannot
I
have
thought
Brock
is,
lose.
are you gonna put the Usos and Reigns coming in and somehow getting in that cage?
But the chamber is one structure which don't really break into. You see it in Hell in a Cell. Sometimes you see it in steel cage matches all the time. Chamber's kind of protected.
I don't because they opened that gate. Because they opened the door.
Well, that was another thing. Yeah, with Lashley's injury, might have been a way for Reigns to come out and get Brock that way. That's the only way you could have had Brock go out, as if you had an interference. But you can't have him be pinned on it. I just don't think you can do it because him and Reigns cannot be pinned until Mania. And fair enough. I say that Lesnar did get pinned at the Rumble, but that was because of Reigns. That's the only way.
And Seth took Roman right to the edge.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually good to have them show some weakness. Otherwise, it's just you end up in a Goldberg scenario where he hasn't lost in 300 matches or whatever it was.
Yeah. So
I don't think we want that.
Yeah. So we're now decided title v title at Mania. So there's one match for both belts. So we lose a title match at Mania. I mean, they've got 2 nights, and Brock and Roman will headline the second night. That's almost guaranteed. And I don't know if the women's matches are strong. Maybe they are strong enough to headline night
Belair,
one.
Becky, I'd say, needs to headline.
Yeah, because I don't know about Ronda, Charlotte. I don't Belair, Becky. I don't know. It's just usually there's like so many big matches. It's like right now there's no obvious second best men's match for me right now.
The only thing I hope they do
AJ
is
and
now
Edge,
really
maybe.
Concentrate. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I hope they concentrate on the mid card titles.
Well, yeah, Raw now, is it just going to be no title, just all these like Seth, KO, AJ, all these guys, Theory being involved?
There's going to be some great matches, just not the best matches aren't always for the titles, are they? It's the ones that you build such an amazing feud around. Hopefully we get that. We're going to get some great wrestling, whatever.
Yeah, we are. It's just
one thing we really need is every title defended, because some Manias you don't get all of the titles defended. This is a perfect opportunity now to have every title mean something. I mean, I miss the days where there'd be like 6-man ladder matches for the Intercontinental title, because it actually meant something.
I think that should be something to do every year. I think that should be a Mania thing. It's just a big ladder match for the IC belt every year. That'd be so
awesome,
cool,
wouldn't it? Yeah.
And they might as well do that this year, because this year it's going to be Sami Zayn v Johnny Knoxville. That's what it's going to be this year for the IC belt, I think, which is interesting. And I don't think it's mad to say Johnny Knoxville might win the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania.
They've made a bit of a joke of this title,
I think it's a possibility. Priest is, what's Priest going to do? There's no real obvious for Priest.
I think they've changed direction with him. I think they've turned their idea of making him this sort of crazy losing the plot guy. So I think he may stay face. He seems more popular face, so I'd leave him that way. He's not built enough.
They didn't need to change him in the first place. He was doing great as was. You didn't need to add a gimmick to him, really. But that's what they do. So yeah, what were your overall on the show? What did you think of it?
I thought it was really good. Yeah, I did really enjoy it. I suppose that I've said it before, I was a bit of my sort of victim of my own imagination by wanting something more every time.
I think we all are, aren't we?
What's going to happen? What's going to happen? But WWE give us that, don't they? And AEW, they're always giving us new people, surprises. So it's like, is someone going to come up through the middle of the ring and explode? I don't know. But
that's always happening, yeah.
Yeah, all the time. But I really enjoyed that show. I did really enjoy it. It kept me hooked. That's for sure. I did not look away, especially like when the men's chamber match was on. Lashley got injured. I was like just fixated by that screen.
Yeah,
loved it.
It was good, but I
that
think it was
sound that.
Yeah, but it was only that. I don't think it was anything special. Again, I know obviously I'm happy I got every prediction right, but the fact I did sometimes that's a negative because
I agree.
There was no surprising outcomes in any match in this show. It's just what I think were the most obvious. I think even, I know Fisher only predicted Lashley to win, but that was not because he thought Lashley was winning, that's because that's what he wanted. And I wonder if a lot of the other predictions people made, be good to hear.
Well, a lot were for Seth. We had 5 predictions for Seth.
Yeah, it's interesting, yeah.
I always still had in my head that you could have Seth, Riddle, or AJ win. I never thought that Theory would win.
But no, I agree.
Just because of previous things, the fact that Seth was supposed to win the title at day 1, how close he got over Royal Rumble. Riddle was supposed to win the Royal Rumble. These are rumours that have been around anyway. So if they wanted a second chance to push them, this was the time to push the button. But who does everybody want to see win at one of these events? Brock Lesnar. So
yeah, it's just, in a way, it's a slight shame that they were so hell-bent on this champion v champion match at Mania, because if you have that same main event, but you don't have Brock Lesnar in that match, and you replace Brock with Big E, keep him on Raw singles, and Lashley's injured, he goes off injured, and you're left with those 5, and one of them has to be the new champ. That is so exciting, I think.
Yeah.
But with Brock in there, it's like Brock's going to win. But if you had any, Big E, Seth, Owens, you could have had Owens, whoever you want in that match, any of them winning the belt would be cool. Yeah. But unfortunately, we're kind of conditioned as fans now to just expect Brock to win matches he's in and matches he's not in sometimes. The Rumble he wasn't announced for, he's won matches he's not been in before. So, any big match, just predict Brock Lesnar to win and he'll probably win it.
Well, I think Mania, I think Reigns has to win this. I think if you give 2 belts to Brock,
that is a skip. I don't think you should do that. Yeah, 2 belts.
Because then also you have to have him lose twice, which doesn't make, unless he wins and then he retires. You drop the belts and then you have some tournaments or whatever to get the belt. Yeah, but I think just be so cool with 2 belts.
I think Reigns is the probable outcome as well, because I think they might even just unify the belts and just have one champ who's on both shows.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's also part of the thinking now of having champion v champ, because they can have Reigns and Brock on both shows now if they want. Maybe that's what they'll do to try and improve ratings up until Mania, get people hyped, just have Brock and Roman on both shows. And then after Mania, Reigns is champions on both shows, because I'm sure I can't remember which TV station has Raw, which TV station has SmackDown, but the USA, I think, who have Raw, they will be saying, well, we want Roman Reigns on our show because he's the best, he's your number 1 guy, but why is he on the other show? And they might just say, okay, Reigns is champ, he can go on both shows. That's it.
Yeah.
Because that's what they used to do back in when the draft was originally brought in, back in like 2002, there was one champion and he appeared on both shows, and they were all fighting to face this one guy on both shows. It was they had a really cool dynamic like that.
I would like to go back to the days. I wouldn't mind a unified title if we then introduce another new title.
As long as you have, I think it can work if you have the IC belt treated better. And like if the secondary belts meant something.
Yeah.
But unfortunately they don't. So there's only really
I'd like to bring back the heavyweight title. I thought that was such a cool, prestigious title. So you had the WWE title and then you had their World Heavyweight Championship. And it just looks so cool. Whereas these belts look the same, just one's blue, one's red, which is just cheesy. I don't like that.
It is, yeah.
Whereas you had the days where you had Cena with his spinning WWE title and then this big, prestigious heavyweight belt, which I always remember like Triple H carrying around. It was just so cool. It was such a big, chunky belt.
Yeah.
I think now, because of the way they do things, we need 2 main belts. The worry of them having one is you get the same people every week on every show. That's my concern.
Yeah, but I think the flip side of that is we've mentioned before how few challenges there are for Roman on SmackDown. If Roman's on both shows, you can have him against AJ, Seth. Also, he's got challenges for Seth, Roman are endless then. And I think that would make that one champion very prestigious. Because the only thing with having two champions is it kind of halves the prestige a bit, doesn't it? Because there's two of them. So I think having one, I mean, I'm talking myself around. I think I'm happy with them unifying the belts. And I think they should do the same as the tag belts. I don't think you need two tag champs. I think it's, especially with the tag divisions small.
There's not enough tag.
Could do it with women's as well. Potentially could have one women's champ.
Yeah.
I'd rather that than them
to introduce a mid card belt.
Yeah, I think they should. I think
I agree. If you make Intercontinental belt and the USA title, could you imagine if we had a 6-man ladder match, which was basically that Elimination Chamber with Brock removed,
and Owens,
and put in Big E or Owens, remove Lashley and Brock and put in Owens and Big E or something like that. It would mean something then. I mean, you used to have the days when you had the likes of Jericho.
But you'd have
Jeff Hardy.
You'd have Stone Cold as IC champion. You had Bret Hart as IC champion. You had some of the big. Again, it used to be that was the belt you won before you won the main belt. It was like a stepping stone. And even you're looking down in NXT to a smaller degree. You've got Carmelo Hayes as the North American champion, who is clearly maybe their second top star on the show, and he's the second champ. So it means something. And in the past, you've had Keith Lee, you've had Johnny Gargano, you've had some proper top NXT guys and you go to AEW and your second champ is Sammy Guevara or Cody.
Well, I'd love to have AJ or Seth as Intercontinental champion, to be honest. I think before they messed him up slightly, I think the US title belt was looking pretty damn good with Damian Priest.
Yeah, Priest has been a really good champion, and even he's just beat AJ Styles for it. That's a good match for the US belt. Definitely. Whereas IC is going to be Sami Zayn be Johnny Knoxville. That's the alternative on SmackDown, unfortunately. I just think they've decimated their lower end of their roster so much that having all these belts I think they've just got too many now. I think if I'm booking it, and I don't think they'll do this, but I think I would unify tag belts, do it all at Mania. Screw it. Have Usos the American Alpha or Alpha Academy at Mania. I would say the women's belt, but that's not going to be unified at Mania. But I would have one women's champ, one tag champ, one world champ, and have a mid-card men's and mid-card women's on both shows. And that's it. That's what I would do.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see. Right? That's a bit of a tangent from Elimination Chamber. But there we go. But yeah, I think we've kind of covered it all, haven't we? No, that's.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
everything
that.
covered top to bottom.
Enjoy the show.
Yeah. It was a good show. It was a good show, definitely. So that's it for us today. I mean, check out our most recent video before this one on our YouTube channel, which is Krusty and Fisher's initial thoughts after the Chamber. As Fisher couldn't be here today, he wanted to air his views, and Krusty was able to join him as they both watched live yesterday. So check that out.
I buckle bombed Keaney onto Fisher.
He did. Fisher got injured. I carried on. Yeah.
He got injured 3 weeks ago. We just didn't tell you.
Yeah, he did. So yeah, check that out. And thanks to those again who have predicted. This is our third predictions of the year. It will continue throughout the whole year, so please get involved.
I've pushed myself back up the league table.
I'm interested to see when Fisher announces I don't know if he has announced the winners yet, but
he has. Yeah, he's put them on Twitter, so check them out.
So check those. I haven't seen those myself yet, so I'm interested to see. I'll go on after this recording and have a look at those myself. I'm interested to see the leaderboard. I think I was up there before, and I had a good show this time, so hopefully I'm doing all right. But as you know, there's a chance to win a T-shirt of your choosing from either AEW or WWE at the end of the year. One of us guys can't win, so it's a listener who wins. Because I will probably win as I'm doing so well so far. So.
Well, I think that's a good time for me to mention I'm 2-time reigning champ.
Yeah. Before we made it public.
Double champion.
Yeah. Yeah, but so get involved, and we'll be back on Friday morning. Sorry, the pod will be released to talk about the week's wrestling. I don't know I can't remember what's coming up this week. I think it's just a standard Raw, NXT, and AEW. As we might discuss a few things on SmackDown. There's a few things that weren't Chamber related, but check that out. And obviously, we will continue to do these pay-per-view pods. We'll have, I think, Mania's the next one.
Revolution
is that before Mania? Yeah. So we've got Revolution. We've got Mania. I think there's potentially a takeover.
I might be wrong, actually. Yeah, I'm not too sure. We'll do them all. We'll cover them all.
Yeah, but we'll do them all. So we got Revolution.
Tune in, listen to them all.
Mania. We still need to discuss about Mania fully, but that's a 2-nighter. Dude, who knows what we're going to do for Mania? There'll be all sorts of shows going out. So look out for those. And we will catch you on Friday morning. So go away, recharge yourselves, and we'll see you later, guys.
See you later. Thanks for tuning in.